The latest unemployment rate is 3.7%, and we have warned many times that this unemployment rate is going to surge. That's why we need to do our very best to prevent the expected business shutdowns and massive staff layoffs.
Direct cash handouts will be given to employers to help pay staff salaries for a maximum of 6 months. The government will help pay half of each employee's monthly salary with a cap of $9,000 per person. The cap was set at 50% of Hong Kong's median monthly wage, which is $18,000. For example, if an employee's monthly salary is $16,000, the government will subsidize $8,000 to the employer. But if the employee earns $30,000 per month, the government will only give a subsidy of $9,000, while the employer will need to pay the remaining $21,000. All businesses that make MPF contributions for its employees are eligible to apply, but they have to promise not to lay off any staff member. The government will also ask the NTR Corporation to reduce its fares by 20% for 6 months starting July 1st. Both the government and the railway company will bear half of the cost arising from the fare reduction. The threshold for the public transport fare subsidy scheme will also be lowered. Currently, those spending more than $400 per month are eligible for the subsidy. The new threshold will be $200 per month. Carrie Lam also announced that she and her governing team will be taking a 10% pay cut for a year. KW TVB News.
While some sectors think their requests are being heard, other businesses want more than just a one-time payment.
This is better than never. A responsible government always listening to the people. The employee, they lost the job, they have no income, this will be having a very serious problem.
We should have a monthly supporting funding for our rent and the salary. That's for long term, because, for example, if the funding is around 60,000, but our cost is not 80,000 per month. So what will be the next month? What we can do? What we can do is just to close the center, because we can't afford it.
Earlier today, Hong Kong media tycoon Charles Ho called on the chief executive to help out employers with financial problems. In an open letter published on the front pages of 2 of his newspapers, Ho says a double whammy of protests and the pandemic has battered the city. To avoid more layoffs, pay cuts, and unemployment, he called on the administration to follow the examples of other places and pay on behalf of employers 2 months of their staff salaries. Today, health authorities reported 25 new coronavirus cases, bringing the city's total to 961. While around a dozen COVID-19 patients are in critical condition, more than 250 others have recovered from the disease. Jackie Lynn with more.
Yet another case of COVID-19 emerged in the infection cluster linked to the Marks & Spencer store in Causeway Bay. The staff member had worked alongside his infected colleagues, but he wasn't close to them and didn't join their gathering in the karaoke lounge.
They may be sharing some facilities in the store that may get them infected. Because in general, we observe locally acquired unknown cases every now and then. So people may inevitably get into contact from their environment. So I think everybody in the public should observe their symptoms.
With their work environment being a possible source of infection, all other staff members of the shop are quarantined. Another local case involves a cleaner who worked in a general outpatient clinic in Shui during the incubation period.
She has no direct patient contact. And then inside the clinic, she was given appropriate protective equipment during her duty.
5 colleagues who had lunch with her have now been isolated, with 1 displaying respiratory symptoms. As for the new imported cases, they include a 2-month-old infant who had been to London with his parents and a cargo pilot who visited Turkey and Kazakhstan. Jackie Lynn, TVB News.
As the number of COVID-19 cases continues to climb, authorities are extending business suspension rules for leisure venues. And today's beauty and massage parlors will also face a temporary 2-week shutdown. Kena Chu reports.
Leisure venues observing a mandatory shutdown are nearing the end of their 2-week hiatus, but still too early to assume the affected businesses can reopen anytime soon. That's because the operational ban will now be extended to April 23rd. The businesses include, but are not limited to, karaoke lounges, fitness centers, and mahjong parlors, all for being potential breeding grounds of COVID-19. The extension will also apply to measures regulating catering business premises, scheduled premises, and group gatherings. Starting Friday, beauty and massage parlors will also be added to the list of businesses subject to the 14-day compulsory shutdown. Those breaching the regulation face a maximum penalty of a $50,000 fine and 6 months in prison. Secretary for Food and Health Sophia Chan explained the closure of beauty and massage parlors is necessary to facilitate social distancing. The decision, however, came as a surprise for the founding chairman of the Federation of Beauty Industry, who said it was never mentioned during his meeting with the government yesterday. Nelson Ed also criticized the move for disrupting the industry. Meanwhile, virus detection undertakings have also been beefed up at the airport, where the Department of Health will collect deep throat saliva samples from all arrivals, including those without symptoms, starting today. From Thursday onwards, those returning from the UK will also be required to stay at Asia World Expo until coronavirus test results are out. A lawmaker finds it insufficient to target returnees from the UK alone.
Up to 20,000 of the Wuhan residents is the so-called invisible carrier. Right now, the government refused to ban the border. So we have no safety gate to protect the people of Hong Kong.
We have established a policy that all people returning from Wuhan or mainland or whatever cities in China, we're going to give them a bottle and say the specimen.
Kena Chu, TVB News.
Elsewhere, UK Prime Minister Boris Johnson remains stable in intensive care, battling COVID-19, but is said to be in good spirits. Meanwhile, there are worries people may be tempted to break lockdown rules during the Easter holidays in virus hotspots in Europe. Leslie Tang has more.
As the UK's leader battles COVID-19 in the ICU, scientists say the nation is entering the deadliest phase of the outbreak. Foreign Secretary Dominic Raab is filling in for Boris Johnson when needed. He said the Prime Minister is in a stable condition.
He's receiving standard oxygen treatment and breathing without any assistance. He's not required any mechanical ventilation or non-invasive respiratory support. He remains in good spirits. He's a fighter. And he'll be back at the helm, leading us through this crisis in short order.
Raab said the target of 100,000 virus tests per day by the end of the month still stands. Former Prime Ministers backed Johnson's recovery.
Boris is a very tough, very resilient, very fit person. I know that from facing him on the tennis court, and I'm sure he'll come through this.
U.S. President Donald Trump chimed in.
He loves this country, he loves his country, but he loves the USA. So he's been very good to us.
Trump said the UK has asked the US for 200 ventilators. Over in virus-hit Spain, police are using drones and helicopters to scope out the Canary Islands. They are looking to crack down on anyone flouting confinement rules ahead of the Easter holidays. Both the numbers of new infections and deaths have been edging down since the beginning of the month. With Italy on lockdown for 5 weeks, canals in Venice have been deserted. Although it has the biggest death toll in the world, there seems to be a glimmer of hope. Italy reported over 3,000 new confirmed cases in a 24-hour period. The country has not seen a daily count that low since the first weeks of the outbreak. Easter break will also test if Italians can resist going out and about. Meanwhile, the central bank estimates France's economy likely contracted 6% in the first quarter from the previous